So, Diego, welcome to the first ever. Well, actually, this is episode 0, right?
Episode zero. Yeah, well, actually, yesterday could be considered episode zero, 0.5. Yeah. We'll see how we number it at the end. But yeah, everybody, welcome to a new series called Social Confoes. As you may have noticed, the past year, we both started the podcast, Jean-Luc and I, Diego Amirali, and he did a sports podcast with Dion Brunings, the Lucky D Show, and I started a Confoes podcast, starting with a series Casual Confoes, where we talked more about finance, economics, just casually. But this series started off just as a casual conversation we had at the start of this year, commitment to put out content in 2021, and we
Yep.
just started talking, and that's how we formed the social side and the convo side, and we merged them together, and that's how Social Convos was born. So what is Social Convos? Well, first of all, let's just a quick run through introduction from your host. We got Jean-Luc. We all know Jean-Luc, popular guy in the social media world. He's everything social, Mr. Social Media. The past social media conference was great last year, all digital, even during the crisis period. And yeah, master of social media. And me, myself, I was more interested in the business side of, how the world worked, economics. And that's why I started with the Convos podcast. So this new series will be more dedicated to how social media plays into our lives, the new developments that we have now with different working situations, and also how that impacts our mental state of physical media, digital media, virtual media, augmented media. You have all types of media now to consume. So did I miss anything, Jean-Luc? Feel free to add on.
I think you've been modest about introducing yourself. I would like to say Diego is one of the secretly most creative tech people in Suriname. Starting the Confoes concept is a brilliant concept. So to make it clear, is that Confoes is basically Diego's baby, his podcast, and Confoes has different kind of conversations. So there are already other type of Confoes. And that's something that's interesting. So if you're looking in, like he said, finance, I want to know more about finance. I want to know more about creativity. Make sure to check out Confoes as well. But social, like you said, we're gonna keep it social, and it's gonna be broad. I think we're gonna have one topic each episode. Every episode we're gonna have a guest. This is episode 0, so that's why it's just the two of us. But we already have two guests approved for the next 2 months, so we'll be keeping you guys in touch, and we hopefully will let you guys know on time who the guest for the next session will be. Um, so yeah, I think that we covered everything, and maybe it's good to introduce the topic for today, and also a little bit the format of this show.
Yeah, definitely. So, as Jean-Luc says, this is going to be a weekly show. As it's scheduled now, we'll be going live every Tuesday for the next 52 weeks. I'm putting it out there, so it's up to you guys,
50,
Jean-Luc,
50 weeks.
fifty
Please
weeks.
tell them 50 weeks. I can't make any guarantees for the last week of December. If there's any improvement when it comes to COVID, I'm definitely going to be on the streets. I'm not going to be at home in December 2021. But for now, let's keep it at 50 episodes.
Yeah, but definitely the format's going to be a commitment to put out an episode every week for 2021. and it's going to be on Tuesday starting at 9 p.m. SRT, or that's -3 UTC time.
Yeah,
And
I have to apologize. I think I said midnight GMT UTC, but it's actually, is it midnight? Yeah, it's midnight UTC.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. And we'll be running for about an hour. Well, depending on how hot the topic is, we may extend, but the framework is 1 hour from 9 to 10, and that's how we're gonna do it. And as Jean-Luc said, we'll have a guest every week, depending on the topic, expert in their field. If you guys have any suggestions who you'd like to have us interview, feel free to put it in our comment section. If you got topics in mind, burning topics or controversies that's playing now in the community, in the world, put them in the suggestions and we'll see how we can tackle those together. And
Okay.
furthermore, just to introduce the topic of today, actually this topic is a natural follow-up to the last episode we had on casual convos, where we talked about starting a Ponzi scheme, and you may be wondering, wait, what? What's going on? Yeah, the last episode ended 2021 with 2020. 2021 just started uh, with an episode on Ponzi scheme, because there was this new wallet thing going on in Suriname, and a couple of friends of mine noted it out to me, so I invited them all in a call, and that's how we just talked about it. Um,
I want to jump quickly in because we're gonna forget it. Joel is asking, or is telling us to hold the final episode on the streets. Joel, to be honest, we've just made this setup. We're just happy that we have a setup. We were supposed to go live on 3 different channels, but currently we are only live on one because apparently I have to verify something on LinkedIn before we can go live there, and also we haven't set up Twitch yet. So give us some time to adjust. I just killed a snake that was in my kitchen like 20 minutes ago, or not killed it, put it out of the house. Let me correct the terms. It's not that, but it was a fight. So let's keep our promises for what the episodes are going to look like in December for now.
yeah, definitely. And
Mm.
if you may miss the live stream, not to worry. After the live stream, we're gonna have a recorded version uploaded on YouTube and probably 3Speak as well, the video
Definitely.
platforms. If you don't know what 3Speak is yet, don't worry, we'll cover it along the way. Um, that schedule will be determined a bit later after this pilot episode to see how it goes. But yeah, back to the topic of today. Following up from the Ponzi scheme of the casual conposts, we're going to talk a bit of three notable, in the past, I guess, 3, 4 years that have been circulating in our local community and also around the world. You may have heard of them, you probably have, but we'll cover those in a later section of this episode. So, and teaser, they're a bit related to crypto. So that's kind of a controversial topic as well now, because there's
Yeah,
stuff happening now.
because
There is a
yeah,
lot of
there's a
stuff
lot of
happening
stuff
now.
happening now. Okay, so before we get into that topic, we want to talk a little bit more about the format. Do you want to allow questions? What? How are you experiencing, first of all, this live session so far? Because this is the
Uh,
first time you're really doing the podcast live, right?
Kind of. Well, quick story. The first episode 0.0 of Casual Convos was an attempt at a live session.
Okay.
Um, we wanted to do it on Instagram, actually, Instagram Live. It went
Mhm.
horribly wrong. It went horribly wrong. Audio was bad, double feedback loops. You could only go live with 2 people on Instagram, right? So, and we had
Yeah.
3 people. So we were just mixing and matching, and yeah, don't
Yeah.
want to do that again. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. That's why we decided to just pre-record it. But now we got a decent setup. I'm finally back home. Got my home office, so the setup is more controlled. Got the camera, decent mic, audio. If there's anything for improvement, please feel free to give us feedback. That's how we're gonna build on this episode, trying to improve it as we go. But yeah, that's how it started. Furthermore, first live session, it's pretty chill, I guess. It feels like a normal, session because I don't really see anybody. I don't have the Facebook Live open. Maybe that helps.
That
So
helps. That helps.
if the comments pop up later, yeah, we'll see how that goes. How many viewers do we have now?
A little bit. I think 13 at the moment. So which is good for this kind of topic. We're not actually 60 now. We're not doing like comedy or anything like that. We're not gonna tell jokes. We're gonna provide some useful information on the difference between MLMs and scams. And for some people, those are the same. So that will be interesting. We're gonna talk a little bit about maybe a little bit about the format and I just want to jump into something Joel is saying. You guys are doing great so far. It's the ISP that shall not be named that's ruining my 144 pixel streaming experience. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I think my screen has already frozen up like at least twice because of my internet connection, which is usually quite good. So yeah, I'm experiencing some technical difficulties here as well.
Yeah, I'd like to comment quickly on that. Joel makes a good point, especially now, this day, as everybody working from home, especially the digital creators. Having a good internet connection is essential now. It's not just luxury anymore. And especially upload. Because if you
Yeah.
gotta upload videos, transfer files, you can't just wait 8 hours just to get a simple YouTube video online. It's devastating, man. That's one thing I had to get used to, getting back here
Oh yeah,
home.
I forgot about that. You haven't been here for about a year.
Yeah. So uploading a 1 gig episode to YouTube, which took me like 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. I had to do it overnight, sleep on it, come back the next morning, hoping I didn't get any errors during the upload or timeouts. And yeah, that's how I got it uploaded. That's actually a reason why I didn't upload any of the later episodes onto Tree Speak as well, because it's not
Oh,
as
okay.
uh, efficient as YouTube's algorithms with uploading.
Okay.
If that times
Okay.
out, you can start over.
Yeah, I
But
mean, to be honest, on TreeSpeak, I only upload files that are below 100 MB. I
yeah, I
just
just
drop the quality to seven. No, actually 540. I think it's not even high definition. Because it's just for YouTube. Yes, it's for YouTube. You want to upload the highest possible, actually the highest possible quality you have. Facebook will kind of package it again. So for Facebook, I think 720 is definitely enough. But for now, on the blockchain on TreeSpeak, I don't upload anything above 540.
so yeah.
It just also the streaming experience. Yeah,
If
the
anyone
streaming
from
experience is terrible.
the ISP is listening, please push this, put it on a priority list. There's a lot
Well,
of potential.
actually, I've gotten offers from both our telecom providers to come up with a proposal for 2021, especially for creators. The thing that has been holding me back is the location that I was pushing for, or the locations that I'm pushing for are not necessarily COVID friendly. So that's another issue. Like if you want to have let's say that we're creating a creators hub, and then it's a air conditioned room, and then there's 20 people in one air conditioned room, that won't work. So we're definitely looking to do a creators hub with 10 Mbps upload speed that you can have a decent live session, or you can do gaming. Like for instance, that if you are a gaming winner, if you won a gaming tournament, then you deserve at least that many hours a week of high quality internet speed access. I think a lot of people, if you are a YouTuber or a creative and you want to upload daily, that you at least have a time slot of 1 hour every day that you can go there and upload your content. So it's something in the making. I definitely think it will be. It's very confronting because you spoke about your experience in New Zealand, and I graduated in 2009, and I studied in Helsinki for 3 months. And part of the exchange, part of that part of the program was that we also went to Tallinn, which is Estonia. You've been actually
Yeah,
to
I've been
Tallinn
to
as
Thailand.
well, and we're talking about 2009. And in 2009, Estonia had free public internet in all local parks provided by the government, and that's just crazy. That's really just crazy that in 2009, in Tallinn, you had, when you were in a park, you would have free internet provided by the government. Yeah, it would be cool if you're on the Independence Square in Paramaribo and you're just there and you have like high quality internet access provided by the government. I think that's definitely something. Like some of us have it because they actually had the internet connection from one of the surrounding buildings, and it still connects till this day, even though it was 3 years ago. So in some cases, you have that luxury, but most of us, when we go out, we don't have Starbucks here. We have a lot of restaurants, I think, that have pretty good solid internet, but no public Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's definitely a downside.
Yeah,
And as you mentioned, talent, I think that accelerated their development in the tech space, especially when I went there, it was 2 years ago now already. They're kind of the like tech hub in Europe now because
yeah,
that's what they're branded for. That's what they're selling as a country. I think this is a topic we could further cover with what Rajiv said yesterday, branding
brand
Suriname.
Suriname. Yeah, definitely.
Uh, yeah, but yeah, we'll not touch on that today. But
So before
good to know.
before I ask a question, Theo mentions Theo say let's take it over. I know Theo has a lot of experience because he's done a lot of hackathons and hackathons there. That's definitely an option. I'm not sure Theo say is COVID friendly, or we might have to do a protocol. But Theo, if you want to do it with IT Core, definitely we would love to support that. So that would be an interesting thing. Another thing that, because we've mentioned Estonia, you're a digital citizen of Estonia.
Oh yeah, did you mention it?
You forgot about that?
Got it right here.
Okay, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about what that entails, because most of us don't even know you can become a digital citizen of Estonia.
Well, in short, I actually haven't utilized it yet since I got it,
Okay.
but I got it. Anyway, when I went there, I heard about this thing like e-residency. I think Vincent told me about it from Spang Makandra, and
Yeah.
I had a friend from Mexico as well who also had it. So he told me about it. I told him I was going to Estonia for a conference. I said, "Hey, you should check this thing out." So right before going, applied for it. Time the time slot for the application to pick it up because you gotta go pick it up in person so they can verify it's you. But basically, what it is, it's like a digital ID. It's called the e-residency program, and you basically get like a kind of ID card with a chip and a secured reader. And what it gives you access to is, as a foreigner, as a someone not in Estonia, you can actually use their services. They have like the intranet, their infrastructure for doing business. You get access to that, so you could potentially open, a business there, get access to their bank systems, and yeah, do business through that as a legal European Union entity. Not sure if they updated anything for the past year. Haven't really checked, but it was something quite interesting. And I actually need to follow up on it, but it's still here.
Yeah, you're
That,
a digital European actually, but do you know from your friend in Mexico or from Vincent, have they utilized it? Do you have any idea whether or not they utilized it?
um, I don't think so. I didn't talk to my friend in a while, but he used it for, we were doing a side project. So he used it to register his business there, but yeah, didn't really pick up. So I don't know what at what stage he is now. I haven't talked to him in a while. But yeah, he did register the business through it, and there's this
Okay.
tax report that he had to do. Told me a bit about it, but yeah, there's no income or profit, so it's quite easy. But that's all the technical stuff. The main thing is you got access, so you just gotta get your feet wet, get a feel for it, see how things work. And I think that's the thing with most things. You just gotta try it out before you can really say, "Oh, is this for me or not? What can you actually do?" You won't know until you dabble around in the water a bit. And yeah,
Well, I think yeah, I
don't
think
be
it's
afraid to
interesting.
drown a bit.
No, I think it's
Make it.
interesting, especially with if there are issues with correspondent banks, for instance, and you want to open a bank account and it's not easy through the regular way. It might be a solution as well. I think.
Yeah, speaking of bank accounts, there's actually one of the there's a company TransferWise. When I was there, they had a company tour, but it got booked out so fast. I didn't manage to go, but they're kind of like bridging this thing for international transfers and banking. So I do have a TransferWise account, and that's actually how I managed to create virtual bank accounts. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so you can actually start with that to to receive international transactions. The I was able to open it from back home here in Suriname. The only issue is to get the first deposit verification. You need to deposit something, so that's one hurdle you'll need to cover with the local banks here. Don't know how that's going. So if anyone wants to try it out, let us know how that goes. I'm
I
quite
can tell you
interested
how
how
it goes.
yeah.
You'll just pay like 20 euros for the transfer. I think that's the only thing. So if you're gonna put if you want to put 10 euros in your bank account, you transfer 30 euros to your bank, and they put in 10 euros in your bank account.
Hmm.
We had this issue with I think it was with crowdfunding. Like we had a friend of ours, Gio. He lives in Dubai now, and he one of the projects that we were doing, Future Leaders Entrepreneurs. He wanted to do a donation, and we were like, okay, cool, we're gonna do this donation, and we worked with Apura Networks with Miguel, a good friend of mine, and he decided to do an international bank transfer. So he did an international bank transfer, and he paid more for the transfer fees than he paid for the actual donation. It was like, yeah, that's not so. The donation was like three times as much as it was supposed to be. So that's definitely an issue still. But if
Uh,
is it connected to crypto? Can you from like an exchange put it in your bank account, or they'll be like, wait, that's a tricky first deposit.
so I don't think TransferWise supports crypto at the moment, but how it works, how they are able to keep the fees so low for bank transfers, because they have actually had offices in every part of the world, like North America, Europe, I think parts of Asia. And what they do, they have liquid assets in each region. So if I transfer something from Europe, it goes to the Europe account, but then they send a message to the US account to transfer it from that. So that minimizes the fee that you have to pay. And I think this is a good solution for especially digital creators if you're looking to do work internationally to be able to accept payments. Because yeah, if you make a design, a video for a project, and the fees are like maybe 20% of what you're making of it, I don't think it's worth it. Because in the end, you deliver X amount of projects, and a big chunk of your actually income is just going through fees. So yeah, but it is
Well,
having that access. It's one step to internationalizing yourself as a yeah as a business, as a creative. Something to look into, guys.
yeah, that's very confronting actually, because we're speaking about fees now. For instance, I'm most active on Hive. I don't have any fees there. I mean, transaction wise, it's like it's one of the cheapest ways to transfer. But on the other side, I think 50% of my income doesn't actually go to me,
Mm,
and I have to decide whether I want to liquefy the other 50% for 50% as well. So basically, I can only liquefy 25% of my earnings straight away. So if you look from that perspective, I mean, there, and then you get to the point, like you're talking about creatives. Like, uh, I feel at least we should interview somebody who is making a living out of Fiverr, for instance, like a website like Fiverr. I think we should at least interview somebody who has a Patreon account, that actually has a Patreon account that makes money. We should definitely try to find somebody as well who has an OnlyFans account. Um, no, I mean we should
no,
like
I
the thing
get
that
it.
would
It's
and
people should see, once people see that's actually possible, it opens their mind a bit more, I guess,
yeah,
um, to make that step. I know it's challenging to find that accessibility, especially where we're coming from, the Caribbean. Latin America, we're kind of in that corner of the world, kind of, um, not looked at as much. So yeah, you gotta break through somehow. And seeing a peer like who lives like 3 blocks away from you who actually done it gives you some sense of, oh, okay, it is possible. And if you can find those people, if you guys know anybody who's doing this and they're up to have a chat with us to share their experience, it'd be great. You know,
yeah,
therefore share the experience because that's how you actually develop yourself and get yeah get knowledge resources faster.
yeah. I think, I mean, I want to go as broad as possible, and I mean, so we currently have two guests. One is Surinamese, one is Dutch, living in the U.S. for quite a long time. So I want to definitely go as broad as possible. But for you, for instance, which platforms are you focusing on for 2021?
Platforms in the sense of putting
Of
content out
sharing
there,
your
or
putting out content. If it makes you something, it's nice as well, but it doesn't necessarily have to.
um, yeah, for me the main focus as content creation is the podcast now, trying to get this consistently. um, the thing I had in mind when I started this was to have some kind of archive of
Yeah.
my thoughts and conversations, and basically like a digital diary, and have it somewhere. What I do with it later, yeah, sure, whatever. But it's it was more for personal development for me, just to force myself, to you have a lot of thoughts, but to be able to communicate it, this podcast is a way to force yourself to put what you have in your head into words so that you can reflect upon it later. And if someone gets something out of it, oh great, that's a bonus. But yeah, I'm kind of selfish. This was a selfish decision for me. It wasn't really to
Okay.
share something with someone else, but that's just a
Okay.
spin-off.
No, I mean the honesty. I mean, you have to at least give points for the honesty. I mean, that's I. It's very. It's even very Gary Vaynerchuk-ish. Document, don't create. And I'm gonna be honest, because right now I'm in the process of posting daily. So I'm posting daily on Hive. Well, actually, I should say it's TreeSpeak. Posting daily on TreeSpeak, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I'm still. I mean, that's 4 channels already. That's quite a lot. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get Instagram and LinkedIn in there as well. But yeah, it's. I mean, and the content that I'm going to be posting actually for the next couple of months. A lot of it's going to be like refurbished content, in the sense that it has been put out somewhere already, but it wasn't fine tuned. So what I'm allowing to do now is actually fine tune the thought process. Like you were just saying, like I have things in my head that I have to talk about. I have to openly not only discuss but also document it for future references. And for me, for the past, I think 5 years, I've been constantly documenting, not always as as uh, as active as I'm doing now, especially last year. So COVID is also very important, played a very important role. But I think, yeah, that's the main reason, documenting, and then in 3 years, 5 years from now, you can actually make more out of it than if you
Yeah.
document everything properly.
So
Shout
speaking
out
of,
quickly to the Nigel,
oh, hey, Nigel.
who is also joining. Nigel, welcome. That's pretty cool. What time is it over there?
Yeah, should be sleeping.
No, I don't think he can sleep at the moment because there's too
Yeah,
much going on
I know.
in the crypto space.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
speaking of platforms, another platform I'm pretty much trying to get a daily post in is Instagram as well. Um, this is more to log my experience I had abroad in New Zealand. So I'm just trying to make a short story with a compilation of a few photos just to jot it down, and yeah, another archive that I can later use to make story content, adventure content. The idea is to make a travel blog or something on Hive, share the experience. Yeah, I went on Hive a few months ago, but yeah, that didn't stick.
Yeah.
It takes time, but I'm slowly building in these little processes to help me get that consistency in as creating some stuff. And these are low barrier ways. It just takes like 5, maybe 10 minutes a day, but just commit to it, put it out there, and then later look, okay, how can you compile this into a more substantial piece of content?
Okay.
So those are the
So
two main platforms I'm pretty much. Oh, he's in Su.
yeah, he's in Suriname, so that makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
But it's an interesting topic you touch upon because you're not the only one struggling with that. I think Fausto, who's actually the one who brought us all into Hive, or he brought us into Steam, and I suffocated everybody into Hive. But he also has the same thing. I mean, you're a photographer. You have so much content. I mean, you can easily put out a photo every day of the year. Like it's just a process that you have to go through and a commitment that you have to make,
Yeah.
that you take. And don't think, oh yeah, it's a photo, so 5 minutes is enough. You're gonna have to take an hour out of your day the first month. And then
Hmm.
when it gets easier, when the thought process gets easier, and the thought process is mainly the thought process is, what do I feel like posting? What does resonates with my mood that I'm currently in? How easy can I get to the footage that I want to put out this day? And are there kind of topics involved? I mean, that's why I kind of like. I know we're talking about Hive a lot, but that's why I like Hive, is because if you want to, there are tribes, and I think a tribe is very important because that's where we struggle with certain platforms. We really struggle with Twitter. I mean, a lot of Surinamese people struggle with Twitter, but you know who doesn't struggle with Twitter? All these Surinamese people on Twitter that you don't know about because they don't tweet under their own name, and they have their own, they have their own niche. I mean, sometimes I go through these anonymous Twitter, Surinamese Twitter accounts, and of course I know most of them, who they are, who the person is behind them. And it's so much fun because they
Hmm.
are really enjoying the platform. But you have to be in a tribe. You have to have a certain kind of content where you know there are other people that are interested in the same topic. And that's what social media is about. Like, we tend to forget that. But if you don't have a tribe that you're part of, people that have similar interests, it gets boring quite easily. But if you have a tribe of people that have actually the same interest as you have, I mean, that's the sweet spot. So for me on Twitter, I only talk about crypto. I'm actually going to change my bio. To be honest, like if you want to talk about something else than crypto, go to Facebook or go to LinkedIn. But on Twitter, I only talk about crypto and very specific, not even broad topics, just like very specific cryptos.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think the thing about social media, we touched upon, making money, but I think the first thing you need to get through is, as you mentioned, that community building, the tribe. The first, the foremost value you get out of this is those connections, because the the monetary value can come afterwards, maybe in some other way, not maybe directly transactional to something you created. But if you're in this community of, or people know about you and they see you put out stuff, oh, you do this kind of stuff, oh, you're a photographer, oh, you know quite a bit about crypto. Want to speak for us for this short session? We got some new people. Yeah, break it down pretty simple. Those are opportunities to meet new people and can get your foot into the door for actually some other projects. Um, just one last example before we move on to the next section. This podcast thing that we started, I think I shared this with you just 1 week after I got back here in Suriname. I just got this random email from some guys tell me they got some kind of program running, an 8 week fellowship program. Of course, I'm always skeptical about this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, got a few of Instagrams as well, but yeah, you could clearly see those were, kind of ambassador scammy-ish kind of things. But yeah, this one was kind of different. I looked them up. I saw they're pretty active on Twitter. One of the guys even got a verified account. Checked their other programs, fairly new. And I like, okay, let's just reply, see how it goes. Um, so apparently they found the podcast because they started a new program, a fellowship for podcasters, and they are looking for recruiting people interested because they already ran like I think 8 cohorts of founders,
Okay.
investments, entrepreneurs, and the podcasting is a new one. So yeah, they were looking for new shows. They came across our show, emailed the. Luckily, I had the domain and email set up to forward to my address. I saw that email and like, okay, had an interview with it. I said, okay, I'm gonna apply. Had an interview with them last week. Pretty chill guys. I think tomorrow they also have another Q&A, so I'll share the information with you later because they have some other programs as well. And did the interview, got email 2 days later like I'm in.
Oh,
Uh,
nice! Congratulations.
yeah, and yeah, just gonna do it. It starts in February, first week February. See how it goes. It is a paid program, but I was like, I'm willing to put the effort in. You know,
Okay,
this
nice.
I have a feeling something can come out of it, especially coming from where we are, because they're pretty close to, I think, San Francisco based, so it's pretty close to the tech world. And having that
Okay,
access through a few people, I think is more valuable than just trying to learn something or make a quick buck.
okay. That's lovely. I think the network, and I mean, like you said, eventually through the network, you're gonna get the opportunities. We're actually already international. A quick shout out from Curacao, Giano. Thanks for the shout out. Awesome having you here as well. And I want to ask the question though. How did they find you? Was it through the podcast with Robert?
They didn't explicitly say it was so the program director contacted me, but one of the founders saw because he sent me the thread of the email
Yeah.
because he saw it and he forwarded it to him like, hey, contact these guys, maybe they're interested in the podcast. So the program director couldn't really tell me which episode it was. I guess I have a feeling it's probably that one because we had two international episodes, one with Robert Murphy and the other one with Isun Yi from Canada. So
Yeah.
I have a I have a feeling it's probably one of
I
those.
think it was, yeah, probably. It's funny that your mind starts to shift, because I think in 2018 I interviewed Pat Flynn. We did a short, I think, 4-minute interview with my phone back in the day, and we were talking about podcasts. So I asked him, was in 2018, was it too late to jump into the podcasting game? And he was like, "Nah, it's not too late." And I mean, that was 3 years, almost 3 years ago. So it's funny, and because we've had a lot of podcasts in Suriname, um, but there aren't that many specific ones, and I think COVID really played an important role. I don't think this podcast or the other podcast that I'm doing would exist if it weren't for COVID. So that's a very, very interesting thing as well.
Yeah, same. This the series started as boredom and lockdown for 2 months. Like I need to do something.
Yeah,
So that's
no, that's
how I
good. Yeah,
thought about.
yeah. I
Um,
probably out having a meeting or something. It's. I think that also changed. That also changed my home dynamic, which is crazy. But it really changed my home dynamic. Being home every night of the week, which used to be, I used to be home 2 times a week, and 3 times a week I would have meetings, or I would give a lecture or something like that. So yeah, it's really crazy. So I think you have a fun section as well that you want to introduce.
yeah, just something to break the pacing a bit, so people don't fall asleep. I think we're boring or stuff. Um, Yeah, so I think every episode would be fun to do this. Maybe some trivia, some Easter eggs, but for this time, I was thinking a rapid fire Q&A. So basically, how this is gonna work? We each, Jean-Luc and me, told each other, okay, we're gonna ask each other 5 questions, A, B choice, this or that, and we didn't discuss this yesterday, but I want to add a spin to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
okay. So when you give the answers to these 5 questions, no explanation needed, no
Okay.
context needed. But at the end of the five, the comment section can ask maybe if they're curious about one. But if there's one that piques my interest, I'm gonna ask you the deeper story, and you can do the
Okay.
same for me, just for one. For the other one, we don't
Okay.
need any context. So you up for
Okay.
that?
Okay. I'm up for it. I'm gonna be honest. Like I told you about the snake that was in my house, I'm not fully prepared as well as I'd like to. But maybe then it's. Do you want to go first? Should I go first? Who asked the first questions?
Sure. Let's rapid fire 5 questions first. Don't worry, I'm gonna go real easy on you.
Okay, so let me go first. I'm going to go real simple to begin with. Yes. So the first question is black or white.
Black.
Okay. OneDrive or Google Drive.
OneDrive.
Okay. A Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Okay. um, the Netherlands or New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Um, $50 or having to talk for 5 hours straight.
I'll take the 5 hours straight. $50 ain't worth it. Talking.
All right.
So, would you like some more context on any of them, or you want me to go at it first?
No, we can go at it first, and then
Okay.
maybe in the comment section of if people have questions about any of the things that you just answered.
Yeah, yours were pretty simple, so I think mine are pretty much on par with yours. Not too,
Okay, good. Yeah, that's why I wanted to go. I'm
you
gonna
wanted
give
to
the
set the
pivot.
stage.
I'm gonna give the pivot after you're done. I'm gonna give you a little story on why I'm going first.
Okay, sure. Blue pill, red pill. Sorry, I didn't catch that. You froze for a second.
Yeah, I froze for a second. It's okay. You can start.
Yeah, the blue pill or the red pill?
Oh, good question. I do have to ask a follow up question. Which one is
Yeah,
the
sure.
rabbit hole again?
Red.
The red one. Yeah, I probably take red.
Okay, sure. Work from home or work from the office?
That's easy now. Work from home.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay, we're already bilingual, Dutch and English. So, but if you had to learn a third language that's pretty big around the world, Spanish or Chinese?
I think I froze again, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
So
To repeat, Spanish or Chinese? Yeah,
Spanish or
Chinese, Mandarin,
Spanish or?
Chinese.
Ooh, I like that one. Chinese.
Okay. Um, and last one, phone call or text message?
Definitely text.
All right, cool. So you
Okay,
wanna go
these
first
weren't
or?
that. Yeah, these weren't that extremely difficult. I think I said rather work from home or the office. At the moment, I do wanna I do wanna work from home more, but my office setup is a little bit more prepared. I have to be honest about that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But the one I was interested in choosing Spanish or Chinese.
Okay,
Why
that
Chinese?
was kind of a trick question because my Spanish is I'm like drunk taxi yeah, drunk cab Spanish. That's kind of like my level of Spanish. If I'm drunk in
Mm.
Spain in a cab, I'll get home. You know?
Okay, fair enough.
so that's basically and the reason I know that is because I was drunk in Portugal and I got home. So if I can if I'm in Portugal and I can go I get can get home drunk and basically speak Spanish with a Portuguese accent, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get home in Spain as well.
Okay.
So that's one easy part of the question, but the second part is I do want to go back to my roots. Most people don't know, but I'm actually almost 50% or even more than 50% Chinese, and I do have interest in China and doing business in China, and not actually buying something from China and bring it to Suriname to sell here or to Europe. I actually
Mm.
do wanna have a business in China, like focused on the Chinese market. I do have some concerns, like Jack Ma, his
Mhm.
disappearance currently, which is like okay, yeah, I'm not sure I'll survive if I go alone. But I've been to China in 2004, and I do want to go back. So learning Chinese, and there are a lot of people. I mean, there are actually a couple of people that I know that are currently living in China or have studied in China.
Yeah.
So it makes the world a little bit more closer together. Makes it a little easier.
No, I definitely
I'm
agree
quite
with it.
yeah.
China will come to you.
China will come to you. Well, Joel, yeah, technically yes, but still, if you want to, and there's also a funny thing. Somebody told me that actually Chinese people don't really like it if you speak Chinese to them. So that's also something interesting, which I don't know if it's true. So that's something a word figuring out. But I actually have a Chinese third name, Yanxiu, and that's actually a Hakka name. And that's funny because in Hakka, like a lot of people from in Suriname, a lot of older generation, my
Mm.
grandparents, they're Hakka Chinese, so a little bit near the south of China. And so that's a little bit more towards Cantonese. Hakka and Cantonese, I think, are a little bit more similar. Um, and then and Cantonese is really small, like only I think Hong Kong and several other parts. The rest talks Mandarin. So my name is male name, like a guy's name in Hakka, but translated in Mandarin, it's a girl's name. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like yin makes sense. Yin is white, yin yang. Yin is quite simple, but the xiu is in Hakka, it's sort of a metal, so something close to silver, and in Mandarin, it's a flower. So in Mandarin, my name, the girls
so
laughed
you're
at me when I was there because they were like, "This is a girl's name. This is something like white flower," and I was like, oh, "Okay, yeah, yeah, that's not what my parents told me it was."
yeah. At the
Yeah,
very least, it was a good conversation starter.
yeah, it was. It was. It definitely was. They were just laughing at me, and yeah, uh, yeah. Okay, so interesting. Kamala says, "I expected you would say China." That's interesting. I'm wondering why you would say that, but I liked Spanish in high school, but I didn't like the teacher that I got in the fourth grade. So I think that's why I dropped it.
Mm.
That's the reason I dropped Spanish. And also, I didn't like the class so much that I would constantly ask for a bathroom break, and then I would ask for a bathroom break, and I would stay away for 20 minutes, and then just come back near the end of the.
Uh, you're one
And
of
then,
those.
yeah, and then at a certain point, she was like, in español, por favor. And I was too lazy to learn how to ask, can I go to the bathroom in
Something
Spanish?
with El Baño.
Yeah, so I kept asking my classmates. I kept asking my classmates, so what's it? And at a certain point, after 2 weeks, my classmates were tired of me asking them. And they were like, come on, you're the one going out of the classroom every time. At least learn the simple phrase. Uh, and I think it was something like "Vamos a la baño, por favor," or something like that. But but they were so tired of me, so nobody wanted to give me the phrase anymore. So then I got stuck, and then I learned it, and then I stayed away again. So I can tell you a lot of Spanish stories, but I won't get into it. From Hedwig de la Vente, buenas noches, hermanos. Buenas noches. ¿Cómo estás? In Chinese, I can only ask for the tap. Uh,
Well, in,
Maidan.
in,
Uh,
in Chinese, bathroom is Shivanya Saina.
oh, that's pretty good.
Well, I hope the
How come you
pronunciation was
know?
good.
How come you know that? You know that sentence?
Something I learned in New Zealand was Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Okay,
started learning Chinese there.
I think we need a separate episode for that one.
Yeah, I'll give.
Yeah.
We can go dive in a bit deeper, give you the backstory
Okay.
in another
Pretty
time.
interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay, the one that I wanna ask you, I'm talking about the questions, but I think the one that I wanna ask you about is because we're heading that route with the next topic. So Bitcoin or Ethereum, and I want to know your story. Why?
Um, why Ethereum? Yeah, over
Yeah.
Bitcoin. Well, this may be kind of biased in a sense. Ethereum was my gateway drug into the crypto world. But other than that, I had my first taste of Ethereum in, I think it was the end of 2016, New Year's 2017. Yeah,
Okay.
uh, around that time. I had heard of Bitcoin before around 2013, 2014, had some friends in the Netherlands talking about this mining stuff. But yeah, accessibility to get into that thing back then was even harder than it is now. Um, so Ethereum, friend of mine got me into it. He gifted me some as a New Year's, or I think it was a Christmas thing. And
That's a
yeah,
good friend, though. That's a very good friend.
yeah, he was in it for a few years now. You know him, but I won't mention it, but you probably know him.
Don't worry. Don't
Anyways,
worry. Yeah.
yeah, and after that, that spiral began. It started doing research into the crypto space, Ethereum, and what differentiated Ethereum from Bitcoin is that programmability, uh, the utilization it had compared to just the transactional. value of Bitcoin, of just sending some stuff. You could actually program some stuff, make smart contracts. So that quite interests me, especially being interested in the tech world. I saw potential in that being able to be implemented in different industries. Furthermore, I think later that year was 2017, or was it 2018? I think it was still 2017. Uh,
2017, everything exploded. The end of 2017, everything exploded.
yeah, and then it was 2017. There was this crypto hackathon on climate change. Applied for it, just tried it. Joel was there with me, so we got selected, all expenses paid, and uh, yeah, that broadened our horizon in the crypto world. So I dabbled onto more different types, but yeah, Ethereum, it's still the second biggest one currently, but I see much more utility in it and more application. So I see more, I guess, from an investor's perspective, fundamental value in it. Although Bitcoin is kind of breaking mainstream media to get other people in it, I still think Ethereum will, if not Ethereum, something similar to it, will outpace Bitcoin eventually in utilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so are you? Wait. First, a question from Theo. He wants to know, transfer-wise, business or personal?
If you're just starting out, I'd recommend personal. I don't think you want that complication going through verification of business, etc., etc. Especially if you're just an individual, unless you're running, a 10-man company spending at least 10,000 a month, then look into business. But just too personal for now. You
Okay.
just need access to that network. That's my recommendation.
Okay. Interesting. I want to ask: do you own wrapped Ethereum?
Um, Wait, come again?
Is it wrapped or warped? Help me out here.
I have not
No
heard of
idea.
that. No.
Okay. No, that's interesting. Okay, then we'll leave that one out for now. I think
Yeah,
we'll
I
introduce
haven't
the
been on the, on the news or new developments the past year as much as I'd want to be. But yeah,
okay.
definitely something for another time.
Okay. Before we head into the next topic, I think I'm gonna have to make sure I have enough battery on my laptop. So give me like 1 second. I'm disappearing now. I'll be back in 5 seconds.
Okay, while we wait for Jean-Luc as he reappears, if there's any other questions in the comment section, yeah, sadly, we're only on Facebook right now. It'd be cool to see people joining from LinkedIn or Twitch as well, but something to look forward to in future episodes. And he's back.
Definitely, definitely. So the topic for today is I'm gonna do a short section on the three the problem that we have with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in Suriname is that we haven't really talked about crypto in Suriname. We haven't even had the discussion. Like on a mainstream level in Suriname, we still don't know what cryptocurrency is. We don't know what blockchain technology is. We just have no clue. And the main reason for that is that the three biggest crypto promotions in Suriname for the past years have actually not been real crypto promotions. They have been promotions for MLMs. And when I say MLM, I mean multi level marketing. Um, it's closely connected to scamming, but I'm going to differentiate between MLMs and scams. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a fine line, and I think the scammers take advantage of that to legally loophole themselves into the system in a way where possible before they cross the line.
Yeah. So, okay. So just to clarify, the scam is very clear. A scam is a concept where it's several people or people actually scam other people out of money. And a multi-level marketing is actually a concept where the concept is that you have to bring more people in and connect with others. So multi-level marketing, basically the idea is you're marketing a certain product, and then when you bring in others, you benefit from that as well, and they benefit from that, and they bring in others, and then it just adds up. And now it sounds, when you hear multi-level marketing explained, you immediately start thinking of pyramid scheme, but it doesn't have to be. I think the biggest difference between an MLM and a scam is that within an MLM, you could actually have value. So there could be a product that is of value. And if the product has enough value, people won't mind it being a networking thing, because they have actually value for the product that they're getting. The biggest problems with most MLMs actually is that they don't offer value. So, one of the questions that Gregory asked is, how do you spot the difference between a scam crypto and a legit crypto? I think we're gonna get into that. Definitely, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Um, so yeah, it's closely connected. Most people can tell apart MLM and a scam. I have a hard time doing that as well, and especially the next one coin making its way through Suriname to the name that coin. So Gregory, my compliments of the three MLMs that I'm going to discuss. You've mentioned two in one sentence. I mean, that's amazing. So it's very clear what we're going to discuss here. And the biggest problem with crypto, as Joel is saying, is the lack of efficient ability to withdraw locally, essentially making it a way for, yeah, okay. So it's a one-way financial investment for luxury. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this a lot. I think we should definitely also ask Maya to be a guest, or somebody from ROX to be a guest on the show this year. But let's quickly go into, like, okay, how do you differentiate between actual cryptocurrencies and so-called fake cryptocurrencies? I mean, the easiest way to start out is the technology. Like, when we speak about mining, like, people think like mining is just simple. I put on my computer and I mine a bit. Like, if you want to do mining with a regular computer, I think you had a mining setup, Diego, a Ethereum mining
Yeah,
setup
yeah.
once. So can you explain to people, just tell them how expensive it was to set up that rig?
So, for the computer nerds among us, you all know, and the gaming people, getting a NVIDIA GeForce 1070 about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, um, I think was a new one was maybe around $400 one. And because there was a shortage, the prices got inflated a lot. People selling it on eBay for 2 times, 3 times the markup price. So imagine having for one mine setup. So that means you got one motherboard, and usually in a normal PC, you'll just have one graphics card to work with, but you add 6 graphics cards to this. So multiply all those electronic components just to have one uh, mining PC, and then you calculate the return on the investment, because that's variable as well, because it fluctuates, because depending on how many people are in the network. I know it's a bit technical now, but yeah, if you want to delve into this, invest in it, you need to first try to understand how it works. Don't go into anything that you remote have zero clue. At least have some level of knowledge. Me myself, I'm not an expert on how the intricacies of the blockchain are, but I have a general understanding of what's going on. And the miners for more for verifying the transaction on the system to validate that everything is in order and that no one's trying to manipulate the system. So I was kind of contributing to that system with the graphics cards that I had. Um,
I think
yeah,
you just said it. I mean, come on. I mean, the amount of expertise and the amount of money you need to actually set up a mining rig to know what you're doing. But then you get to a very important thing, because you said something which is very close to proof of stake. And the proof of stake is basically verifying that there are actually transactions, Bitcoin, let me say blockchain transactions going through your system. And that actually kind of validates that we're actually using blockchain technology. So where the scams immediately come in is, like, the easiest way to find a scammer is okay. Miguel said it here, so I'm going to use this one. So way easy. The easiest trick in the book is go to CoinMarketCap, go into CoinGecko, go to any listing on websites that have listings of cryptocurrencies, and if the cryptocurrency that the person is talking to you about isn't on it, it's not
It's a red
a
flag.
cryptocurrency. It's a red flag. I'm not saying it couldn't be, but it's a red flag. You should at least hear from them, like when they want it to be listed, what platforms are they going to be listed on. And I know there's some contradiction in this because for cryptocurrency, the whole idea about decentralization and
Mhm.
cryptocurrency is not to actually put those things on an exchange, but go from wallet to wallet. But let's be honest here, they're traders, and that goes into the next question by Hedwig. Should you do crypto for the long haul or day trading? I don't day trade. I don't do forex. I don't know about you, Diego. Do you day trade or do forex?
I tried it, lost money. So
Yeah,
try your hand at it. If it's for you, great. If it's not for you, feel the pain and then move on.
yeah,
But just to follow up on what Hedwig says, if you're interested in making or earning money through investing or trading or short term, long term, it is something you have to honestly look yourself in the mirror and will you be able to commit to it. It is as any other endeavor. As a creator, create
yes.
stuff, it is time and commitment and hard work that you will need to put into it. If you hear something, 10% returns per week, blah blah blah, and uh, that's another red flag. If you're talking about red flags and scamming, if it
Yeah.
was that easy, everyone would be rich. And come on, the 95% of people that go into these things end up poorer than when they started.
I think that's a very interesting thing that you said there. Most people end up poor, especially with day trading. It's a job, yes, Hedwig, it's a job. It's very much a job and also education. And I think what Joel says will jump into what I'm going to do because I'm going to go on a 5 minute rant in just about a second. Crypto red flags. Someone has to invite you. You can't get it on your own. The token, the coin, is it in a single cryptocurrency exchange? The token has to be frozen for a certain time before you can do anything with it. Yes, these are all major red flags. Then I quickly want to point out that Theo also jumps in to why these kind of multi-level marketings
Mm,
and some of them are schemes. Why are these MLMs so very popular? It's because of the fish these yeah biggest problem is decent financial services. That's true. Look at the different scam currencies in our own banks. We literally have banks here differentiating cash money and cashless money. I won't go into that. I will go into, and I'm not going to say what bank, but I know there are actually people that are advisors for banks that are into certain MLMs, which is very uh, worrisome, to be honest.
controversial.
Yeah, it's very okay. So let's get quickly into the three crypto MLMs that are most have been most popular in the last 3 years. So the first one is easy. That's OneCoin, and OneCoin was really big. I mean, there was an office, a OneCoin office. There was a car driving around with One Life on it. Um, there were housing projects being built around OneCoin. It was amazing how far and how and that's the thing about these things. A lot of these things, and I'm talking about most online MLMs, a lot of people just go all out on them. And yeah, OneCoin, in the beginning there was a way to actually cash out your OneCoin, and that's also another thing. As soon as you hear somebody talking about educational packages and then connecting it to crypto, just know that you're in it for the educational packages. You're gonna learn that. That's the insight. If you're learning educational packages about crypto and you're paying for it, and people are saying, yes, this is crypto, but you can't actually exchange it, there's no exchange, it's not a real crypto. So I think that's very important to understand. If somebody tells you like, yeah, the whole philosophy behind it is that you can't trade it with other coins, that's like, okay, but how are you going to cash out? That's the most important thing. You should always be able to cash out. Even have to take your coins from one exchange, which is like Yobi or like a really on the other side of the spectrum, exchange, but at least there you can exchange it for another currency that you can then bring to like a Binance or a Kraken or a Coinbase, and from there you can bring it into fiat, which is euros or USD, and from there you can do it. Even if you have to do like 4 steps to get your money, as long as you can get your money back immediately within a day, for me it's fine. I mean, you want to dabble around it, you want to try it. I think the main thing is always don't invest money you can't afford to lose. That's a very very important thing. But that's already, if you can't get your money, that's already a big problem. So what actually happened with OneCoin, you were able to cash out, but you were only able to cash out if you didn't have the lowest tier. So you had to invest more than just the basic investment to be able to cash out. Then all of a sudden they took it down for maintenance purposes, and then it reappeared 2 weeks later, but all the transactions that were pending didn't go through. And then eventually, I think right around the time that crypto really started to blow up, actually OneCoin, all of a sudden you couldn't cash out. And there are like people in Suriname who have a lot of OneCoin and have tried cashing it out. Then they came with Deal Shaker, which was a website, yeah, in which you OneCoin you can get deals and good stuff. And there's actually I think 2 or 3 years ago somebody told the story like, yeah, I have a lot of OneCoin. I went to Deal Shaker. I tried to purchase stuff that was way more expensive than I would pay for it locally, and I still wasn't able to cash out my OneCoin. So that's very very difficult. And then what Joel of course mentioned, Rajiv is saying it's not funny. It's funny, but it's just hard. If there are ranks to it, if they have all kind of fancy names and titles for it, that's also a different red flag. I mean, um, and that's also a hard part. You can't really talk about decentralized when there is actually an institution that's giving away those ranks. I mean, like, what? I mean, you could gamify. I mean, you could gamify blockchain technology. That's actually fun, but you do have to know that the person that gamifies it isn't actually the owner of the cryptocurrency. It's just somebody having around fun with development. So there's a big difference between that. If somebody gives you titles, that basically means that's a centralized institution, which means it isn't decentralized. And the whole concept of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is actually decentralization. And that's also a very different topic that we'll get into another time. So basically, OneCoin went from this semi because you were able to cash out to completely unable to cash out. Still, for years, people have tried to get other people in. A lot of thousands, tens of thousands Surinamese people got into OneCoin, and now they're stuck with their OneCoin. And of course, there's kind of a shame culture in Suriname. So people won't openly say that they own one coin or they own one. But there are a lot of people in Suriname that actually have one. And it's funny because before OneCoin, the most famous MLM, which wasn't crypto related, but the most famous MLM
Coffee.
was Oregano Gold.
Okay. Yeah,
And
coffee.
that's also another MLM issue that I have is like, if the product is good, I don't mind the MLM. But once you're gonna promote, I don't drink coffee, so quick disclaimer. But if you're gonna promote Oregano Gold, and you can't convince me that the coffee is even better than Nescafe or another brand, then that's already a red flag as well. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, this awesome. We had it with Tupperware. I think we also had it with Alufera when I was studying. I think
Yeah,
Alufera was kind of
those
big.
were
MLMs for
uh,
Alufera. So there, yeah, I mean, at least we had free coffee samples. But yeah, Theo, you have to be honest about the coffee samples. I mean, were
it
they
wasn't
that
that bad
good?
actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't drink coffee, so
me
to be
neither.
honest,
But
I don't know. But okay, so that's one coin, and I mean, we don't have to talk a lot about one coin anymore. We all know the current situation. The owner or the founder is a fugitive. A lot of
w-
other people at the top have actually been arrested. You
yeah,
wanted to
what
add
I like
something?
to
Yeah,
add before you move on to the next
yeah.
one, to OneCoin, is they actually utilize that that you were able to cash out was incentivizing the lower tier to go at it harder, basically.
Yeah, but that's always how they do. So
Yeah,
yeah, Rajiv, it's wait. My cousin almost persuaded my mom to buy. I mean, so many people persuaded others to buy Organo Gold. I mean, it was a very very big thing at the time. It's not anymore because it has had played out, and that's the thing about MLMs. Uh, MLMs work until the point that everybody's in and there are no new people you can get in, and that's kind of where it stops.
Yep.
So Alufera is still happening, yes, Rajiv, but that's the whole point. I think the reason why Alufera is still happening is because the product has some value. I mean, they're Alufera products. They're just a little bit more expensive than regular Alufera products. Same with the Tupperware. I mean, you could still do it, but and that's why it's an MLM, and that's why I wouldn't say scam, because scam is really scamming people out of their money. And with crypto, I mean, with Alufera, with Oregano Gold, with Tupperware, people actually got a physical product. So you can really, yeah, they're scamming out of their money, and but they didn't lose everything. They got actually something in return. But uh, in the case of one coin, you don't have any value for the coin at the moment. So that's the first one. And yeah, MLMs are never actually sustainable. The only way an MLM is sustainable if the people on top reinvest the money again. But yeah, we know how that happens, how that ends. So the second one is Omnia, and I think Omnia is a little different. And I'm not even gonna call Omnia a full out scam, but it's not around anymore. So what happened with Omnia was that Omnia was basically saying, you don't have to do the mining rig. We'll set up the mining rig for you, and you just pay a certain amount, and we mine your crypto for you, which is somebody already said one of the red flags is you don't actually own it. Well, in that case, you don't own the rigs. And what happened when the price went down and down and down, and all of a sudden was it below 4,000 US? Of course, the payouts weren't connected to the fluctuation of the price. So at a certain point, Omnia couldn't pay the people anymore that put in the money, aside from, yeah, also it being an MLM and everybody who was in was already in. So at a certain point, it just started combusting. Omnia explained that it was due to the low Bitcoin price, that mining wasn't actually profitable, and they tried to convince people to be in it for the long haul, get 25% off on 2-year contracts. And most people were like, yeah, but I mean, we paid for this, so we want our promise, what you promised us. And then they did a very classy exit in the sense that I think uh, from a legal perspective, they're somewhat, well, they appear to be in the clear, but the website is gone, and I'm not sure if people got their money back. And I think that's also a danger that it was really promoted in Suriname. Like people go on and you don't have to mind, but again, buy package. And again, there are people that made a lot of money off this. I think the people, that's also the thing with MLMs. It's never sustainable in the long run, but the people who jump in first and get the most people in first, they profit the most, they gain the most, and they get their money out of it, and even five folds or ten folds out of their money out of it. Yeah,
And what I like to add to that is, especially they were OneCoin and Omnia both. They were riding the mainstream waves because it was 2017, 2018 when was the last huge crypto wave when all the Bitcoin prices spiked to almost 20K, and they're leveraging that actually to promote their services. Let's call it services.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, wallet. You don't know what's gonna happen after. If you don't, it's basically saying, yeah, give me some of your money.
yeah. We'll figure it out for you.
Yeah,
Don't worry. Well, it's gonna be huge rewards, massive rewards. And you just are, we give you an educational package. We'll get to that one. The third one, okay, quickly, wallet. Wallet is not it is an MLM, but it's not crypto related. So we're gonna skip that one for today. We're definitely gonna. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's very clear. And when you look at wallet, you have Blessing Loom in Nigeria. It's the same thing. We're not gonna get into it. That's just clear out. That's a scam because there's no offering in return. And like I asked people, like, where do you think the money comes from? Like,
mm,
if you know understand basic economics, you understand that wallet doesn't work.
yeah. I
If you
didn't
just
really
understand basic
follow the
economics.
developments,
So
but it's really dumbified. It's really simple, and I can't fathom how people fall for that.
I think it's called it's one is greed. The other thing that's mentioned is the financial services. Somebody already mentioned it in the chat. The lack of opportunity, and at a certain point, you do have to understand that the wallet craze really jumped when we were in the full
Yeah,
lockdown,
the
and
crisis.
even the casinos and the Suribet offices were closed. So people who would usually go to a casino or to a Suribet office to wager their money, they needed something, so I can't
Uh,
blame them. I mean, like, it is like, okay, I wanna, I
Gamble.
wanna gamble a bit, so let's gamble. I mean, what do I have to lose? I was gonna use this money on gambling anyway. So from that perspective, I'm gonna respectfully say I understand. I'm not even mad for that part. What I'm mad at is the fact that the only way you can look at wallet and think this is gonna work is when you're extremely, extremely in it for yourself, and you're not even thinking about it from a bigger perspective, because that's also something that you have to understand. If you look from it from a different perspective, you know that people are going to lose money from wallet. And that's also another thing when you step into these multi-level marketings. um, you should always ask yourself, if I'm going to convince others to jump in, what's going to happen when they lose money? I think that's the most important thing. We tend to forget that. It's like, yeah, jump in, jump in. I mean, I feel guilty for getting people on Itergochi. Itergochi was like this game where you could have your own Tamagotchi, and I got people in for egg. And most of the people didn't even do anything with it. I should ask Nigel what he actually did if he managed to sell, because Nigel had a really cool egg. But the only problem with it, the gas fees were so freaking high that I'm not sure if he cashed it out. But I did cash out my Ethergotchi money, because it was possible to cash out. So you wouldn't be able to cash out for the greatest rate all the time, but you were able to cash out. And I ended up cashing out for some Ethereum. I'm not sure. I think I exchanged it for Bitcoin Satoshi version, Bitcoin Cash Satoshi version. So I might have that still wrong. So I probably have still 20 US dollars around there, somewhere from that game. But even I felt guilty for that. I asked people to jump in, because most people just jumped in for the email address and that was it. But I decided I'm not doing that anymore. Which gets us to the third one, which is Dagcoin. And Dagcoin isn't being promoted necessarily as a crypto. It's also promoted as educational packages through Success Factory. And I asked people when I first saw the promotional items, I asked the person, like, are you have you researched this properly? Because I saw clear correlations to OneCoin. And then when you do a little bit of research and you find out one of the top people from OneCoin actually jumped and created his own thing. And what he did was pretty smart from a business perspective. He took out the things of OneCoin that weren't well thought through, and he actually repackaged that and found ways to all the answers for things that were wrong with OneCoin. He found answers to it and included it in the educational package, which makes people think that you're smart, because they are being educated how to deal with these
Yeah.
remarks about it not being a real crypto.
To give that coin some credit though, the other two, you could see if you have an eye for creativity. If you just look at the posters cut out of a person, unmatching background, big diamond title, um, crossed arm pose in a suit. It's a big red flag, feels off. But you gotta give that coin some props on looking pretty legit. Their design, their website, the way they worded things. I think, as you said, they've learned from it and they've packaged it, they beautified it pretty much.
They package it so perfectly.
Yeah,
I mean, you almost want to believe it until you get back to the proof of work and the proof of stake. You don't have proof of work. So you don't actually have proof that it's exchangeable for other goods. It's only exchangeable for the good that you're promoting. So it's very centralized. It's not decentralized at all. And I think that's something that people misinterpret, because it's really important. Even there are some even so-called decentralized cryptos like Ripple, XRP, which is being promoted as a crypto, where the real crypto community is looking at XRP like that's not decentralized, but at least it's verified as a crypto on a coin market cap on CoinGecko, you can actually get it through exchanges. But for that coin, you can only get it through their own exchange. And so you have to be careful about that. I think what Datcoin did quite well as well is they really looked at use cases. So they connected their technology to things that people would consider, I would use that in regular life. But the question that you would have to ask yourself is, are people actually accepting the coin globally? In what sense are they accepting the coin? And also, I think another thing that they did quite great is that they actually got in Tallinn. We spoke about Tallinn earlier.
Yeah.
They actually
When I was
were a
there, they were
sponsor of the
pretty.
GCI convention, which is really impressive that you sponsor. That's a really kind of way to legitimize yourself, is to sponsor like a GCI convention, which is a really big thing. So that was a smart move from the business wise again.
Yeah, I don't think you can outright, say they're scam, but you have to look
No,
at the fundamentals, because
yeah,
in the end, it's another business person trying to do something, and business is basically the exchange of value. So if you value it, if you can find someone who values what you're offering, it's a legit transaction if you're asking me. But looking at the bigger picture, you have to look at the bigger ecosystem and how it fits in. Can you actually utilize it for more things? They have been around for a few years now, so have there
yeah.
been any
So
major developments since then? Weigh that in.
well, I mean, I'm looking at their website, and the website is beautiful. It's designed for using, not trading. So that's a great way to get out of the whole. Yeah, it's okay. It shouldn't be on an exchange. It shouldn't be listed on CoinMarketCap because it's meant for using and not for trading, which is beautiful. Because at the end of the day, the whole DACON community is gonna decide what the coin is worth. So
Mm.
basically, it's a token. I don't mind it being a token. So if you would say that coin is a coin, it's a token, I wouldn't have anything against it. The thing that I would say is it's not a cryptocurrency. So that's a clear distinction that you would have to make. A token can be anything. It could be an online thing that has you can have a transaction for, and it can have value, but that doesn't make it a cryptocurrency. So because there's no ledger around it, there's no blockchain technology that's supporting the system. For all we know, it could be it could just be sheets of numbers and nothing else. So I think that's one of the things that's my main concern. What I mean, it's a beautiful website. I mean, the process, the thought process is well thought out. They're not that big though. It's 500,000 members, which isn't that much. I would thought
It's
Doge
still
has a bigger,
popul-
yeah.
still our
No, but
population.
no, Doge has a much bigger community than that coin. So that's also a thing, and I think also that's why I also said um, that's why I also said it's not a scam. That's why I said three MLMs, and it is an MLM. You can do that coin without actually getting other people in. You don't have to do that. So that's also something that they perfected in the system. But basically, it is an LMNM,
MLM.
MLM. People do profit from bringing others in. Yeah, so Hedwig, the GCI does stand for ethics. That's completely true, but we do want to clarify that it's not that the GCI is promoting that coin. Be clear about it. It's not that they're promoting that coin. Uh,
Yeah,
that
for
coin
some
was a
context.
sponsor. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe you
for
can
some
explain it.
context, during that conference, I was there actually for a JCI conference, and they were a sponsor. I didn't look into it as much back then, but I was kind of skeptical. Okay, what are they doing here? But you sometimes just have to take things as they are and later look at it. And it's the business world. It's you have politics at play on different levels, so you can't really go into that as much. In the end, you're dealing with people, and people are prone to you know making decisions may not always be the best one, but the most informed one at that moment. So
Yeah.
I cannot speak for the
So,
organizers.
I mean, accepting the sponsorship, I mean, it's what's wrong with it? Like we just
Yeah.
discussed, we had financial advisors to Surinamese banks who were into OneCoin, very big investors into OneCoin. I mean, it's not very clear. These are all new topics. So for us, maybe if you're in the age group of between 20 and 35, and you've dabbled a little bit and you know how the internet kind of works, you'll try to figure these things out. But if it's something that's really mainstream and broad as this new big thing, then people are very often like, okay, let they want to sponsor, why not let them sponsor? I mean, I made the mistake a couple of times with our events. I mean, had sponsors for my events that I was part of, and after the event, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have made them sponsor.
Mm.
That was not a good move. So those things do happen. Tevin wants to talk about Hive. Tevin, we're not really going to talk about Hive more than we already did today. I think we talked
Yeah.
about it quite a lot. So I think the main thing is, if we're talking about MLMs, just be careful. Uh, you should be able to cash out whenever you want. That's 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 the most important thing for crypto. For me personally, is that you should be able to cash out whenever you want, and also as soon as you see that the guy on top makes more. It's just an MLM, and uh, yeah, if you're in it first and you have like a big network, be really careful, because if you bring other people in, people are gonna remember it, and you don't want to be the person that after 3 to 5 years, people are walking on the street seeing you and be like, that's that person that, like with wallet, people are just plain out disappearing, not responding anymore, because they
Especially in
can't
a
keep on
small
the promise.
community such as ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame community. We're very easily ashamed of things. So be transparent, be open about it. Very important. It's weird. If you have to pay for a package, think why you should pay for a package. And if it's real knowledge, actual knowledge, and you feel you want to pay for it, please don't hold back. I mean, it's your choice at the end of the day. But I do feel like we should discuss this topic a little bit, talk about it, and be open about it. And I think we did
And yeah, I think it's good we mention it now because there's another wave hitting right now, and I
that.
expect uh, a few of these to pop up within
Yeah,
the next months. So just be wary of what's going on.
yeah. Yeah, because now, of course, now that crypto is blowing up, because if you go at coin market cap at the moment, I mean, Bitcoin is way over 30,000 at the moment. Ethereum is close to its all-time high. Ethereum is over 1,000 for one
Yes,
Ethereum. So I mean, it's all the signs are there for like, oh yes, yes, invest now, invest now. But people do have to understand that between now and the next Bitcoin halving, things are going to drop back. They're not going to rise exponentially. That's something people should know. It's not like, I mean, there are people saying that it will get to 200,000 US dollars for a Bitcoin. It could happen, but not next year. So people have to be very, and if it does happen, then that's just the craze. That's just the hype going at the moment. But yeah, you can take that risk. But as long as you know everything you invest, it should be money that you're okay with losing. And also, if you really believe in things like cryptocurrency, don't sell your crypto for less than you bought it.
something.
Yeah,
Treat it as any other type of investment. Would it be a business? Would it be real estate? Just treat it as any other type of investment? And are you willing to take that risk?
yeah, I think that's good
Don't
advice. Well, we,
differentiate.
we don't give advice on the show actually, but it's a good argument. It's a good thought process that you just shared with us, Diego. So yeah, so people be careful as soon as somebody asks you to join something, and I have that as well. I have that with Hive. I'm very careful of the people that I tell Hive, because I know most people that I tell about Hive, I know they're not actually going to do it because it takes a lot of work.
Mhm.
And that's why I asked in the beginning. I want to ask people who've done Patreon. I want to do ask about people that have actually made content and gotten paid for it. And for me, I know what Hive means for me and why I do it. And I like the technology, but also, and I think that also accounts, I think it accounts less for MLMs, straight out MLMs, because you're really in it for the money. But when it comes to cryptocurrency communities, you really make new friends all over the world. So that's I think that's a little bit of an underrated aspect. That I really now have friends in South Africa and the US. People telling me about what Thailand is really like at the moment. Friends up in Europe, so you really get to meet other people. And of course, there are a lot of people who are actually behind the screens with an anonymous name, and you don't know what they're up to. But that's part of the internet, I guess.
Yeah, the internet is about freedom of speech, anonymity. And last remark, you're very invested in Hive now, but I'm a prime example of, I know what Hive is. I know the, well, not the intricacies, but generally how it works, blockchain. And I'm still not actively on it. So it takes a certain amount of commitment to, you know, it might not be a financial investment, but it is an investment that you have to do um, from a creator's perspective or just from a community perspective.
Yeah, I think as we're closing off, I think what my biggest advice is: look at your hourly rate of what you're doing. Look at the skill set that you have, the things that you do, and decide for yourself if I'm gonna spend 10 hours a week on this new thing, or I'm gonna spend 10 hours a week on the thing that I'm good at and make money out of it. Does it balance or equal out, or do I in some way feel that it could be of similar value even somewhere in the future? And then you'll decide for yourself, like, okay, this is an interesting approach. For me, it's very interesting. I mean, I have close to $1,000 worth of Hive, which I made. Uh, I never had to buy it. I actually earned it. So for me, that's really interesting, and that's why I took interest in it. And even if it would have been taken from me tomorrow, um, the lessons and the things that I've learned from it are as much value or even more value than eventual profits that I could have from
Yeah, I think that's a good point to end this at. We were gonna run for an hour, and we're at
it. Sorry
one
about
hour
that. Yeah,
36.
yeah. I think we started off too slow, thinking we're never gonna finish an hour.
No,
So
I,
let's kind
I
of.
expected this to happen.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge pacing topics in an episode. I've experienced this in previous episodes, and see here I'm going on a tangent again. So let me just cut it off.
No, but no, but to be honest, I want to thank everybody in the chat because
Yeah,
I think if without the chat and without answering the questions in the chat, we would have gone for an hour. So I think it's due to the good. Hey, even Fabi dropping in. Hey, Fabi Fawaka, thanks for joining in. So for everybody that joined in, I want to thank you guys because
yeah.
I think we would have gone for an hour if it wasn't for the comment section and discussing the things that were mentioned. So thanks Theo. We really appreciate that as well. And yeah, we're gonna close off. I'll let you do the close off and the shout out
Right.
for the next show.
So cool. Just to recap real quick, this was our first episode, 1 hour 37 minutes now, and we will release this episode later for those who didn't make it.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow,
No,
tomorrow.
you gotta commit to tomorrow.
I'm gonna commit to tomorrow. I'm not gonna upload this tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking tomorrow, but somewhere along the week, we still need to work
Okay.
on logistics.
Yeah, I have to commit to tomorrow because I have to upload something tomorrow. I still have to edit my video that I have to upload tonight. So
Yeah. So Hedwig, just to recap, we're gonna be doing this every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Suriname time. It's gonna be weekly, so expect episodes for the next 2021. If you're keen on, joining us for a conversation, if you have a topic in mind, feel free to suggest. Um, this is a new series. We're building it as we go. To put it into some more context, we have the Confoes podcast has different series. This is mainly going to be, the series is going to be hosted with Jean-Luc, and it's a different format as well. We're doing it live, so that's the major difference with the other series. Just to experiment with things. That's how you learn. So this is something new in general in our region. You don't have many of these types of platforms yet, and the reason why we're doing it in English as well is to reach a broader audience. Uh, I started off as with Dutch with the first casual compose, and you quickly come to realize, oh, you got an audience. I was back in New Zealand back then. That you put the title in English and they, oh, this is interesting, and then they start listening and, oh, well, what are you guys speaking? So we quickly switched to English, and we decided early on we're gonna start from English. And yeah, here in Suriname, we're almost everyone is bilingual here, but we want to
That's what
attract
we believe.
the more international audience, and this will be a way to get out there in the world and get contacts, initiatives, whatever you may call it. So that's the idea behind it. So tune in next week again. We'll announce the topic and guest later on the week. Thanks. I want to thank everyone again from joining. If you have suggestions, we'll put out more information along the week where everything will be released, but put it in the comment of this live stream. Uh, there's a Discord server as well where we talk a lot of things. There's different channels there. If you're really interested in keeping in touch with us, getting to know us, and just sharing stuff in general, we'll share that link as well. But with that being said, until the next time, and thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you guys. See you
Yeah.
guys next week. Bye bye.